and welcome to this video on advanced iris folding techniques. This is a follow-up to my previous video and tutorial where I showed you how to make this beautiful iris folding bauble card and showed you where to get 50 free iris folding patterns. If you're brand new to iris folding and you haven't already watched that video, I highly recommend going to my channel and finding the original iris folding video. It's the one just before this one, and watch that one first, because that will teach you everything you need to know about making simple iris folding cards like this one, either with or without a Cricut machine. Also, in that video, I show you where to get all my free patterns, as well as tips for making your finished greetings card, and loads of other iris folding hints, tips, and handy tricks. But one thing I didn't have chance to cover in that video, as I didn't want to make it too long, was how to do some more advanced folds to make even more detailed cards. Now, this one here didn't require any of the advanced folds, but the ones that you can see on the screen now, these do all have at least one type of advanced fold in them to help create the picture for the front of the card. These designs, along with many more, are all available to download for free at craftwithsarah.com/iris-folding. And you might notice if you download any of these patterns that it has some images on the folds that maybe you're not familiar with. That is where the advanced iris folding comes in. In the description of this video is a link to where you can download this practice sheet which I've created for you. And it looks a little bit strange and weird, but this is one example of all the different types of fold that might be present in the more advanced iris folding patterns. And in this video, we're going to go through each one at a time, and I'll show you how to do them. So go ahead and visit the link and download your practice sheet and print it out. I've got the same practice image twice on the piece of paper, and I've added the names of all the different folds in them. The only difference is the top one is just in black and white, and on the bottom one, it's a little bit hard to see, but I have coloured the lines and the text to make it a bit more obvious which lines go with which fold. You'll also need to cut yourself a rectangle out of a piece of card which roughly matches the size of one of the tests. Mine's a little bit too big, but it's still going to work just fine. Okay, so the aim of this isn't to end up with something that you could actually use as a greetings card, although you could if you really want to go for the abstract look. This is more of a sort of training piece to get you used to the different folds. I'm going to attach my pattern to my work surface so it doesn't move about, just with some washi tape. There we go. And then put my cutout on top. You see, I did cut it a little bit too big, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to roughly center it and then tape this down too. Now for this practice sheet, I have made it quite big, because when you're just starting to get used to these folds, they can be a bit tricky. So making it bigger just means it's easier to fold, and also it'll be easier for you to see along with what I'm doing. Because these are quite big and I don't want to waste any of my pretty paper on something which is just a test, I've got this pack of just coloured paper, kind of construction paper like what you'd use for kids' crafts, and I'm going to use that. Alright, so we'll start with the number 1, which is a triangle fold, so named because we're going to be making a triangle with the paper. With our regular iris folding from the previous video, each of the folds of paper only had one line on the pattern, and all of these have at least 2, which is why these are the more advanced folds, also known as fancy folds. So if you see a fancy fold template, chances are it's probably along the lines of this. So this is the blue one, and I'll try and match my paper to the colour of folds, just to make it easier for you to see the effect. Not sure I've got all the colours, but we'll try. Alright, so I've got my blue, and I'll cut a bit to make sure that'll fit. Now, this is actually my least favourite out of all of them. This is the one I find hardest. So what we want to do is place our piece of paper so that it covers that whole fold, and then take one edge and you're going to fold it until it matches one of the lines on that triangle. So mine is there, and then I moved it then, did you see? And there are lots of different ways you can do this. So if you find an easier way to do it, by all means do it that way. But then you want to take the other side, and we're going to fold this along until it meets the other side there. And then it should form a point. I'll take my scissors and just cut off any excess. Like that. And we've got our nice point. I've missed a little bit of excess. And stick it down. And I'm just going to cheat and keep showing you these as I go. The effect this gives you on the front is you end up with that perfect triangle shape. And that's the first one done. Woohoo! All right, move on to the next one, which is number 2, which is this multi-fold. And this has at least 2, but more often 3, sometimes even more than 3 different folds. And I've got this in a red on the pattern, so I will get a red bit of paper. It's a little bit creased. I've had this probably about 15 years. It's quite nice that it's actually getting used, I guess. Okay. All right, so when you've got a multi-fold, you need to have a little think before you start about how this is going to be folded. And try to choose the furthest line first. This will be the first fold. So for me, that's going to be my vertical line here. So place this there, and then fold this back until it reaches that line. So I've lined it up with this here, and that one's on there. And I'll just tack the end down. And now we can do the sides. So as this is a 3-line fold, it doesn't matter which one I start with in this instance. So I'm going to go up, find the point, the corner, and then put my finger in there, and then fold it down following the line. And then tape it down, and also tape down these little flaps here, like that. And then my other one, I'm going to follow it along, find the point. So I'm doing this bit now. I'm going to find the point, mark it with my nail, and then fold the rest of it down so that it matches that line. And again, just put that one down there. And then that's our multi-fold. So if I turn it round, this is the effect that we've got. It's made that shape here. And this is really useful on patterns that need a little bit more realism to them, because you can sort of stack the folds on the pattern to give a certain shape. Next, we'll do the inverted fold. And for this one, we're actually going to need to cut the paper in order to create the fold. The reason this is called an inverted fold is that the point that we're going to be folding along goes inwards. So it's sort of the opposite of this one, where we folded the outside first and then we could do the edges. This time we're going to need to cut our paper so that we can make that different shape. Right, green card. And this time, going to tape it down first on that side, and then have a little look at where your point comes to. And we need to cut it until we reach that point. Just sticking this back down because I keep moving it. There we go. I probably missed the point now. No, it's still there. Okay. And actually, I think it'd be easier. Let's just unstick that. So I've cut a slit in it. Let's move that slit until it meets the point, and then stick that there. Now that we've got the slit, we can make the two sides. So the first one, just following that pattern, stick down. And then the next one, go all the way up to that point, that little slit, and fold, and stick. And I'm going to need to make this a little bit smaller because it's bigger than my white card. Okay. And I can stick that one and also there. And if we take a look, normally I would say don't look until you've finished, but because this is a practice one, it doesn't matter. I can see we've just made that opposite side of a triangle here. So that one was a pointed triangle. This one kind of goes the other way, hence why it's called an inverted fold. Right, we're whizzing through these now. We'll go on to the next one, number 4, which is a multi-fold with inverted fold. We're combining now. So this is a multi-fold like our red one that also has an inverted fold like the green one. So you can see you've got a normal fold here and then your inverted point here. I've got black on there. I don't think I have any black card. That one's pink. So have I got any other colours? There's a pink. I will do yellow instead. Okay. Cut my cards. Now for this particular one, I'm going to do... I'm going to cut my point first. I think that'll be the easiest way to do it. So I'm just going to make a slit and then line that up with the inverted point, which is there. Make sure you've got enough paper here that you'll still be able to hit all the other folds, which this one will. And I've just moved it. There we go. Okay, so I'll make one of those inverted points in there. Stick it down. And then the other one. There. And I'm not going to stick that yet because I need to fold it back to do this line. You see, I've got this line here. So I'll do that first. There. And now that's done. That didn't take very long at all, did it? All right. on to the last one, which is a double fold. This is where both opposite sides of the piece of paper will need to be folded. And this one, it's more important to kind of check the size of the paper strip. So you're aiming for it to be about double what the gap is. This one's probably still a bit big. There we go. All right, so we'll start, place it over and fold it along one of the lines. That one's along there, so that's touching my top bit here. And then we need to fold it up again to hit that bottom line. Okay. There. And you might find if your paper is a little bit wide that it starts overlapping. If it does, you can just pick it up and cut off any overlap that you might have that's getting bigger than the fold you need. But that one actually worked out pretty well. So I can just stick this down. And I use this one a lot for things like ribbons, on gift boxes and things like that. It's just a nice way to get a kind of rectangle on the page. And we'll have a look. I didn't show you that one either, did I? So here's what we've got. Our 5 different folds. And then with the little gap, choose a different colour if you've got one. Yellow? I don't think I've used yellow. And we'll just cover over the whole. Totally not necessary. As I said, this is just a test pattern sheet, but I still want it to look finished. Okay, turn this over. And here is our finished advanced iris folding practice sheet with all of our different folds. So we had number 1, our triangle fold, which is this one. Number 2, the multi-fold, where we folded it 3 times, which is the red. Our inverted fold, which is the green. The multi-fold with inverted fold, which was the orange. And finally, the double fold in the pink. So I hope that this helps for if you're doing an iris folding pattern and you come across a fold that you're not quite sure how to do, then it should be covered by at least one of these folds. It might still look slightly different. For example, rather than 3 shapes like this, you might have angles and different ones. But generally, if you can master these folds on this practice sheet, then you'll be able to tackle any iris folding pattern out there. Don't forget to get this iris folding practice sheet. Click the link in the description of this video to go to my website and you'll be able to get it from there. I'll be back very soon with another iris folding video, and that will be on how to design your own iris folding patterns using any shape or silhouette you want. So if that's something you've been wanting to know how to do, subscribe to my YouTube channel to make sure you don't miss out. Thank you so much for watching and happy crafting. Bye!